Virginia River Systems, Chesapeake.
I'd like to call to order this meeting of Natural Resource Board, regular meeting Tuesday, February 4th, 2020. I'd like to ask everybody to please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we get the roll call?
Mr. Carano,
Present.
Mr. O'Neill,
Present.
Ms. Mosbleck,
Present.
Mr. Stadelman,
Present.
Ms. Brothers,
Present.
Ms. Ware,
Present.
Ms. Callahan.
Present.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
First
Second.
motion by Ruth, second motion by Brian. Voice vote, motion to approve minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Item number 5, announcements. We are looking for board member positions are available, it sounds like.
We have one alternate position available.
And is there anything special about that that we need to know? Or can we do any special recruiting or anything we need to do with that?
They have to contact the city clerk, Jeanette Williams,
Okay.
for application information.
And just let anybody who's watching or listening, you're welcome to come down to the city clerk's office and find out what they have to offer. And please participate and start out on one of the boards or whatever the city may need you for. Moving on to item 6, public input. Any public input? Any public input? Going once, twice? Okay, we're going to move on to item 7, new business. We have, this is pretty new for us. The Natural Resource Board has been asked to participate in the integrated pest management as far as developing a subcommittee. So really what that means is that they're asking for whatever input that we can as members and alternates on the board.
Excuse me, Charles? What they're asking for are 3 members of the Natural Resources Board that are prepared to jump straight in and be part of a committee that's going to meet every Wednesday starting next week and through March 26th. And that's the meeting, the city council meeting when we give present our plan. This is going to be on developing an integrated pest management plan for the parks and city properties.
You said they have asked. Who are they and?
This is Paul and City Council.
Okay.
They're organizing this the city manager and City Council.
Who else will be part of the committee?
There will be, I'm not sure exactly, I will be part of it. Brian, the Director of Leisure Services, and I think they've reached out to some other locals in the community,
Okay.
I believe. Understand that the meetings are 3 to 4 p.m. on Wednesdays, and we're going to jump right in. So there's not a whole lot of learning curve on it, so you need to have some familiarity with it. We need it to move quick because we've been on the moratorium, and a lot of the properties and parks, as you know, have gotten quite invaded with pests. So we have to make sure that we have this plan organized and ready to present to City Council by the meeting on the 25th. So if anyone is interested.
When is the first meeting?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday?
Yep, the schedule's right on the back in your agenda packet. It's on the back of the transmittal after the minutes.
Kim, I'd be happy to do it. I would be happy to participate.
That'd be great.
I will have to miss one meeting, but I assume that would be okay.
What we'll probably do is divide up some of the categories, and then when we meet every week, we'll report back. And important some important things to make sure that everything we're presenting is backed by research. So we're going to have everything that we state on here as part of the plan is going to have research cited in it. Anyone else?
I
like
can
that.
volunteer as well.
We're going to pull 3 members from the board. I think, I'm sorry,
I would be happy to help, but I'm going to be out of town from March. I'll miss the 18th and 25th meeting.
I think Ruth wants to participate.
The 18 is when we have to submit the packet. So that's not,
Okay,
that's just listing the deadlines. The meetings are in bold.
okay,
And so you don't have to be at the 18th and 25th meetings. That's just
Okay.
saying this is the date that we have to get it in for the agenda packet. And then that's the date that we have to present it to them. You don't need to be present for either of those.
yeah, I think I'm good with the rest
Okay.
of those dates.
Great.
Okay.
I feel that this is an area that's right up my expertise. Would love to, have the interest and all to assist as well. However, I will be out of country for pretty much the entire month of March, so I will not be able to do that. However, I will have access to email, and if any information is provided and you would like any insights, I have a environmental chemistry background and have worked with risk assessors on human health and ecological risk assessment, and understand reading this kind of material, whether it's MSDSs or the effects of various things on human population and the environment as well.
Would you be able to make the first 3 meetings?
None.
No, I depart right at the end of.
So who would be
weeks from now.
interested as we sit right now? Okay, Brian, and I'm trying to remember everybody's. Tom?
And I said I would.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, there we
Great.
go. There's your 3. Do we have to vote on that?
I had spoken to Ruth about it. Well, I'm going to keep her in the loop because I'm sure she'll have some valuable feedback. But we'll all be in the loop on what's going on. We'll be reporting. You see
Can I
here.
also ask you if we can attend these meetings, if we're not committed to every single one, can any of us attend them or not?
All meetings are open to the public. That's the law. So-
That's good. I think that's a good question. All right, do we have to vote on that committee at all? Is that?
That was the action was for the nomination. So we have
Okay,
Kathy, Thomas, and Brian. Thank you.
That's good. Excellent. Is there any more comment? Does anybody need to comment on that any further? All right, we're going to move right along then to unfinished business. Item number 8. Item A, Sustainable Sebastian, discussion of goals and tasks for. Last time we were here, we were tasked with coming up with 2 objectives and what we need to do to reach those objectives. And if you don't want to do any comment at all, that's quite all right as well. Just, say no comment and we'll move on. I like to start with Ruth, if she would like to start.
I would like to say this is the initiatives. The initiative is word for word from the resolution. And then the goals and tasks are based on the things we've already discussed at length. So this is not cemented. This is just like when we had the resolution. This is a draft for us to discuss. It just gives us a starting off point to discuss things. So please feel free to bring up new ideas, better ideas, changing these ideas. We're open to it. It's just for discussion.
Can I go over the Exhibit A for resolution, just real quick? Because that was just a real brief. This way we can get up to speed.
I'm sorry?
Because we did an Exhibit A for it, just to bring the community up to speed on the Sustainable Sebastian Initiative, what its mission goals are, and such,
Sure.
if you like to. All right. What we're doing with Sustainable Sebastian, it's there's 6 initiatives basically. Of the 6 initiatives, we are right now developing an implementation plan for the resolution number R1930. These 6 initiatives include support for overall reduction in the use of single-use plastics by the City of Sebastian and its business community by assisting and promoting the Keep Indian River Beautiful and Keep Brevard Beautiful litter quitter surf riders, ocean-friendly restaurants programs, and through the identification of alternative products. And then the second initiative would be support landscaping practices that promote a healthy native ecosystem by assisting and promoting keeping in river beautiful lagoons, friendly lawns, and University of Florida's IFAS Florida-friendly landscape programs. That's what we're doing right now, and just bringing the public up to speed. And we're starting with Ruth.
Thank you.
I suggest that perhaps we take, let's talk about goals for the first initiative first, and then wrap that up, and then move on to the second one.
I think it's a good
Okay.
idea.
I have 2 or 3 goals, the first of which is a 50% of the restaurants licensed in Sebastian to agree to achieve the bronze level that is defined in the Litter Quitter program. So that would be the goal, and my tasks associated with that. First, that we would come up with appropriate literature creation. I understand that there's some already available, but if it needs to be modified, so obtain all the brochures and whatever is necessary. That a second step would be to disseminate that literature not only to the businesses, but that we would go and make more of an education program out of to make sure that we hit maybe the school system if we're able to distribute to schools. The children, I think, bring that home, and so that's helpful. Also to maybe some of the business groups, I'm thinking like Elks or the known people that are groups within Sebastian, that maybe we can start a little bit of education along with that, not just the restaurants along the Sebastian area. It would be great if we could also make an announcement in the newspaper, so have an article that we could be running into, another avenue that we can make everyone know about this goal and this whole effort, this program. We would then also need to visit all of the licensed food establishments in Sebastian. We want to put it, the 5th activity is to put it on the NRC website, so another place for information. I think part of what we're hoping for is that, people will start having alternatives to straws. So like to get the bronze level, at least you're supposed to ask first. That was part of their program, so ask first if you need the plastic straw. But I think we're already wanting to go toward the next step, as well as to give them alternatives to offer. And so, whether it's funding to help purchase and distribute those materials to restaurants, or at least research what is needed as an activity. That was goal 1, and the activities associated with goal 1 that I put together. I have 2 other goals. Do you want to stop at goal 1?
Well, let's not stop there, but let's see how that relates to everybody else on the board, because I get the feeling that's probably our #1 goal for everybody across the board. If I can get a consensus on that, and then we can, what we'll do is that we can go right to making that one of our priorities.
Sure, but
Before we
I
do-
think maybe bronze is, bronze is really easy to get to if you look at the program, the Litter Quitter program, and I don't, everything, it seems like the climate and nature is under stress, and I'm wondering if maybe we shouldn't, try to go for gold. And I've come up with a plan that actually the straws are the first thing that gets you to bronze, and then bags, eliminating bags will get you to the silver level, and then doing biodegradable cups will get you to gold. So with just straws, bags, and cups, you can be a gold Litter Quitter member. And basic two out of 3 of those things are direct enemies to our turtles, which pretty tied to around here. And so I was thinking that maybe, you know, for the sake of the turtles, we ought to aim high and try to get maybe 50% of the. I like it.
I think you
but
did say 50% of the restaurants.
gold level
50%.
for bronze.
I
For
mentioned
bronze.
bronze, but the one thing we have not talked about, and it's not clear, is that when we're coming up with these goals, what the time frame that it is supposed to be. So if we're doing
yeah.
50% bronze by next month, you would go, wow, that's pretty aggressive, right?
Well,
So
yeah.
That's just what I was going to say, like a one-year goal, that's a great goal for bronze. And then after we meet that standard, then let's set the next standard, the next one we want. And I think it's going to be about raising awareness and getting that bronze level. And then once they get comfortable with that level, they're going, then approaching them when they have to be inspected to maintain their certification. When they get that second round, that's when we approach and try to initiate that next level.
I think that's appropriate. And plus, it helps us get a victory that way, hopefully.
Probably
that-
more attainable.
It's more attainable, so.
I almost wonder, there are a lot of businesses out there that are starting to do this, that are already in the little quitter. I mean, who knows how far we are towards that 50%? And there's nothing that stops us from
Are we now,
aiming higher if we get to that
what is the
point.
number of, are we using all of Sebastian all the way up 512, that corridor too? Or how are we defining the restaurants and then, you know, our, you know, 50% of what?
All that I've calculated so far is with many, different establishments, is in the CRA, and I know that is our focus to
Okay.
start, and not that we aren't open and want everyone to be certified, but that CRA is the area that's having the most effect on the environment at this point. And that's 89 businesses, so that's including coffee shops. There's some places like, fast food, we're not going to get them on board, but they're part of that number.
can you define CRA for me?
That's the community redevelopment area. It's the area along the Inner River Lagoon and includes one small, they call it the triangle of 512. But if we make this a goal, I'll include a map so we'll be clear on the area with the businesses
I
on
think
it.
that's definitive and good place to start.
Do we wanna have-
Also, I apologize, I should have announced earlier, the gentleman here with me today in Lisa's seat is Robert Loring. He's our new senior planner. He has 18 years' experience as a senior planner from Palm Bay, and he holds degrees in architecture, historic preservation. He's been involved in rewriting tree ordinances, and he's going to be my right-hand man, my partner on all the Sustainable Sebastian initiatives.
Welcome.
And I look forward to his input. It'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to Ruth. So we're
Sorry,
on.
can I just add one
Yes,
quick thing?
yes, ma'am.
Just keeping the potential out there for, challenging ourselves. Is it possible, or would we accept something like 50% at the bronze level, maybe 20% at the gold level? Do we want to try for something like that?
I'm good with that, because we already have some that are known in the program.
Yeah.
Again, I would want it to be sustainable. That word was used. I know we're talking about sustainable with Sebastian, but sustainable from the terms of, or attainable is the word I'm looking for, that
Right.
we can achieve that.
I would like to see 100% at the gold level. I mean, that would be
Right.
an ideal situation, but I would like to see us start with something that, most of all, is attainable and just keep a singular
Well,
focus.
I think maybe what I'm trying to say is, this is really easy for them to get the gold.
Good.
It
And
really
that's a
is.
good
It's like
way.
the SBC, it's straws, bags, cups, and I was looking at this and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, this is the easiest thing for them to do, and it probably affects us the most as far as when we do our inventory of what we collect down there. on the
I think what we
waterfront.
should focus on, because they're going to get to the levels themselves, the silver, gold levels. We may want to just focus on getting everybody signed up for the program to start with, and then working on the behavior modification of not throwing away the straws into the rivers, the plastic bags and such, whatever we have to do to have that adjustment. And when we're working with those types of things, we need to look at rewards for these businesses and things like that. Looking at telling the public what these people are doing so that the public comes to and rewards these people by using their businesses. Say, look, this is Sustainable Sebastian. It's good to be here. It's clean. It's healthy. Look what we're trying to do here. So I think maybe we will want to focus on, yes, 100% sign up, get everybody signed up at least. We can focus on a 50% for the bronze. But I think the bronze, silver, and gold levels are going to be left up to the individual businesses as they see fit. But we can start the process by seeing what we can do about getting every single one of them in the CRA enrolled at least, either through, mostly through volunteer action. I'd like to see it done that way, if possible.
Just a question from your attendance or prior discussions with the different groups. Do you have an idea of what their success rate was? And, you know, out of 10 businesses, they were able to get so many
Well, Brian
bronze?
was at all the meetings I was. There are a lot of businesses certified in Brevard County, but I have no idea where that stands as far as how many there are, because they did this countywide launch from the beginning. We're kind of launching in Sebastian, and it's going to seep outward through Curb, through Keeping It Over Beautiful. So what percentage they have of their total businesses, I can't say. They even have churches and some other places Litter Quitter certified.
So we're sounding like 100% enrollment?
Well, we would like to see that, obviously. And then however I have to make things happen for that effect. And then, because this is a voluntary program, the goal would be 100% participation. Them reaching the different certifications will be pretty much up to them. I think it would benefit every business to be able to post on their window that they're gold level certified Litter Quitter. If it's going to attract any business, that's the way it's going to be. I'd like to see at least.
We're going to have all three of those stickers. A question in terms of marketing this and marketing material that's going to be made available to the restaurants. One of the things that was with the turtles, 2 out of 3 enemies of the turtles was Sebastian Business Cares, straws, bags, cups, something. What's that?
Microphone.
Sorry. So Sebastian Business Cares, straws, bags, cups, it makes it really simple, and it kind of, people get it, and it gets you right to gold. So, go for the gold, but we'll help you, sure, with the bronze, of course.
Anything we can do.
I was thinking in terms of the marketing and the.
I love that.
Yeah, so.
Wish you'd come up with that before we had our name and logo and everything, 'cause that's really good.
That's what I was.
Where was that?
Well, this changes as we go. This is a work in progress, It's all part of the great experiment.
But I think it should be the cover of our folder that we bring to them.
Okay, so I think we can all pretty much agree on getting everybody signed, at least exposed to the Sustainable Sebastian program. And that would be 81 businesses in the CRA that we're going to be talking about, even though there's a lot more businesses in Indian River County, obviously Brevard County that we can be looking at. Palm Bay is a big part of the Brevard County Litter Quitter program. With do we want to put a goal of 10%, 50%, 80% to gold or bronze level? You want to go that far, or you want to just go after getting everybody
Well, I mean, we've really
registered?
got 2 goals at this point
Right.
that we're talking about. One is getting everybody signed up,
on, right.
and then 2, getting bronze level. So do we want to,
Well, I think they automatically bronze when they
Is
sign
there
up.
a difference between the bronze level and signing up? It was under my, I
it
was under
doesn't
the
look
impression
like
I thought they had
that the
to,
bronze
the
level
bronze
was
level
kind of
was,
their foot in the door.
They have
Bronze level
to
Straws.
achieve one thing,
Right.
they
yeah.
have to
For the
achieve one
bronze
thing.
level.
It's a ask first straw policy,
Right, so
actually.
they can't be a litter quitter program without being bronze level.
Right.
Is that correct?
Correct, that's what it looks like.
So we're going for 100% bronze level?
We're going to try, and I'd like to see a goal of at least 50% of now we're talking first year. Because this is
Yeah.
first year? Okay.
Yeah, I thought you said 50.
Yeah,
We said
I'm not.
50 at first.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't-
I mean, I'm trying to get, so we can say this is our goal.
We want to expose 81 businesses in the CRA to the program
Okay.
with at least a 50% sign up in the first year.
Okay.
So
For-
what we need to do is develop a plan on getting the information and the sign-up packages to those 81 businesses in a manner that they'll be willing.
Which was one of Ruth's tasks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do we want to do that? What do
So
you think?
today, we're defining the goals and the tasks.
That the task would be to get to these 81 businesses.
That's one
How
of
would
my
you like to
tasks
do
that I,
that?
yep.
But
Well,
we
what
have
would
to
your
have the
idea be with that?
materials to give them, too.
That was my first
We have
task.
some of the materials. We have the internet, obviously. We can approach them through mail, or we can approach them individually.
I think
With phone
individually,
calls.
I really do.
That was the
That's what I
idea
was
behind the
getting at.
program and training the volunteers,
Yep.
is that we're going to directly approach the businesses, and we will have tangible examples of things in the materials, like a folder. We'll have a prepared packet for them. Something we can leave with them in case the manager's not available. We at least we've made contact and left something,
We've gone.
right? That we can come back and visit and see if they had time to look over it.
Okay. So we need to contact these 81 businesses with,
Would you like me to repeat?
no, I heard you. I'm writing everything down, but I'm trying to figure out who's going to go to each one of these businesses. Is where
That's
we
not
need
part
to
of
go.
our decision tonight,
Yeah,
right?
that's not one of the things that we're deciding today, Charlie.
That's part of the tasks.
It is a task.
Training, we recruited the volunteers, we need to hold another training event. Herb would like to partner with us to have a training event. So that we
Okay.
have more people certified from the county, from Vero Beach. And it's about having the volunteers in action and having the packets in their hands. So it's not something, we have to detail that we already have. We have the training program. Sorry. We have the training program, and so we need to get the volunteers that we have registered in the certification system. We need to get the packets of information.
Okay.
So we need a cost comparison of those materials. I started some, passed to Brian. It gets tedious, right? Because there's a lot of options out there, and they vary a lot in quality and cost.
Yeah, in terms of the Edward Dunn, are you familiar with the gentleman who was in this, I can't remember his name, Philip Lenti? He handles the Litter Quitter account for Edward Dunn and Company. I'm wondering if maybe we could reach out to him. I was also thinking that he would be a great resource for City Hall to become more sustainable, because all the stuff that he has here is stuff that can be used in your coffee break room and that sort of thing. So, it's just a thought that I had.
Why don't we invite him to come to
Yeah.
the meeting?
That'd be great.
Okay.
That'd be great. I'll be happy to reach out to him if you want me to.
Sure.
Okay.
Can we make that one of the, I don't know if that would go under a goal or a task, but to have the City Hall serve as a role model and switch over a certain,
It absolutely is under goal 2. The issue is that we get these products so inexpensive from the provider that we get them, and they actually order a year's worth of styrofoam plates and styrofoam
okay,
cups
sorry, I missed the city part, okay.
that are in our break room. So every option that I find is at least 200% more, because we get them for next to nothing as it is. Not that that's not an option. We're going to get a sustainable option in here. But it means that we're going to have a lot of options. We have to present it, and they have to make it a budget item because it's such a big difference from what they've had allotted.
Well, maybe we could sell it as partnering with us on rolling out the entire Sustainable
Exactly.
Sebastian initiative with Edward Dunn and have them get some PR out of it.
Exactly. City Hall should, would want to set the example for the program. So that is, and getting those cost comparisons, that's going to be presented to City Council. They'll need to approve the purchase of those because it's so different from it's not even possible to fall in line with the budget of what we spend right now on it.
Okay.
Is the training event that we're talking about to get the volunteers, we're going to be part of that? Is that something we have to advertise or anything like that? Because we have multiple board members there.
Some of you are already certified. I had one training, it was before some of you were on the board. We had one training event, and I did it myself, so I'm comfortable to do it from now on. And we will hold another one and see at different times and see, you know, it's difficult with volunteers because not everyone's available. You need to train 50 in order to have 10 great ones out there doing the work. So we can't launch this with the 10 people we have certified right now. We have to have more certified, but it's going to be easy now we have Curb on our side. They'll help us market for volunteers, and we'll get people. And I've had people reach out to me from local businesses wanting to be a part of it.
When do you think that's going to roll out?
It'll have to be after Earth Day,
Okay.
that event, because I'm on this IPM committee too. This is in every week from me, and then also putting all these things into a plan. So organizing all of our discussions into a plan, that's going to be Brian and I. So, and then we have Earth Day to plan. So it's really going to take up everything we have right now. I don't think we should focus on any of these tasks unless it involves some individual, like right here, the first thing we need to do with letter quitter period before we start bringing it into the businesses is we have to, which was Robert's point, we have to bring it to Chamber of Commerce first. And if someone would like to go to Chamber of Commerce and talk to them about the letter quitter program, that would be great. That would be something we could do before Earth Day, just to know that they're on board. And they probably have a lot of information, a lot of resources to help us reach out to businesses.
Does anybody want to commit to talking to Chamber of Commerce?
I'll go.
Okay. Is anybody down here? Yeah. Okay, you're right.
Okay.
Point person.
I'm happy to support you if it's in April.
Okay. Well, I'll try to go before then.
Okay, just to recap, we're looking at hitting 81 businesses, basically going right to them with our volunteers from the training event first year, 50% sign up for the bronze program. That's pretty much recapping what you're saying down there, Ruth. We can go on to number 2 if you like.
Sure, if you got all the activities lined up for that. That was a goal and all the things.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, we're not ignoring Surf Rider
No.
program, it's just an alternate, okay.
My thought is that we're going to include their information in our packets. And I think that the businesses that stand out, and I could think of at least 2 in the city that really stand out, I think that they would probably be interested in it. So when you see that outstanding business that flies past the litter quitter requirements, then that's when you want to offer that next thing.
Once they get the gold.
Right, right. When they fly past, some of them will qualify for the gold right now, so.
So my goals were for 2020 anyway, and I agree that that would come after gold. My second goal was related to our ability to have some kind of enforcement or restriction on city property or city events on city property so that we could require that there's not single-use plastics when we have a city event on city property. And I wasn't sure if that was something that we could push as an agenda. So I'm looking for that as a thought, but it would be 100%, you know, we'd have a timeline from which we would notify and, you know, get people aware of this, but eventually it would become part of all city events. So can you kind of address our ability to have that?
Well, Robert was just saying that go for it.
So in the short term, we could do it as a policy. And then thinking a little further forward, maybe make it a council action item that they implement, you know, by way of ordinance or something.
What does a policy mean then?
The policy is just a directive that we just internally work off of. It's not codified in any way, shape, or form. It's just a policy that we would require no single-use plastics at city events.
It's something you can enact more quick.
Yeah, it's faster to do it by policy in the short term, and then let council take it by the reins and see what they want to do with it.
I can't say this, the Anne Marie Fraser, our procurement officer, and Brian from Leisure Services, they've been getting quotes, and looking at a different, because there's just such a diversity of options. But we've set the goal of getting bottle refill station into Riverview Park before Earth Day. And I think that's a really big
Great
thing.
news.
So I guess my goal would be that we have a city policy this year that would be that there would be no single-use plastics on city property at a city
A
event.
city event.
With, I guess next year's goal would be to put it into code,
Well, we would implement it would be through council action.
but that's probably not likely this year, right?
Well, I don't think it's out of the realm.
I said this IPM is going to take up, but after we get past that, I don't see why not.
So maybe a second, third, or fourth quarter of this year that we have it codified could be part of that goal as well. Do we,
That's really good thought on that, Ruth.
Yeah.
That's just fantastic.
is there anything that this council needs to do other than have this meeting and mention the goal? Will this get passed along to city council?
Kim?
Sorry. I'm thinking I'm thinking under this, that tasks under this one would be bottle refill stations at all parks. Because that's something we can't eliminate single-use plastics at ball fields until, they have to stay hydrated until we have those things in place first. And then I would have to consult staff on the best way to proceed after that. But I think that would be the first goal under that. And then the next would be to set the policy.
I mean, you've got people who have contracts, I would imagine, for these facilities that this wasn't mentioned in, so there might be something, I don't know how that would affect it.
I know, and this totally unrelated, they have different types of events, but I know that ELC rents out space, and they require sustainable options. And I know someone who just rented the space, and they were saying that they had to go on Amazon and find all these products, and and they're like, I can't have any single-use plastics, I can't have any trash, and people are accommodating it and still paying their prices. So I think maybe a goal would be city events, like city-sponsored events first, and then other events held on city properties. You think, like, set it like a tier? Because as far as policy, it's easier for us to set policies for events we sponsor, then enforce it onto other events that rent our space.
City-sponsored events would be the Earth Day Festival. What other?
There are
the city
others that-
parades? Would those fall under?
Like art show?
Yeah.
Shrimp Fest?
Yeah, the Shrimp Fest. A
Are
lot of
those
those are
city-sponsored?
considered
Those are
city-sponsored just because we don't charge, they're nonprofit fundraisers, and we don't charge them for the space, so they're considered the city-sponsored event.
Do they have some sort of contract that they sign with the city? Or is it, okay, is it a policy, or is it under the definition of policy to include that in the contract, or,
We could.
okay,
That's the short answer.
okay. Yeah, I think that would go along.
I may have missed something here, and excuse me. How do we actually establish the policy? What do we need to do to?
As far as the process, that's something I'll need to consult with staff to get exactly.
It's either at the senior management level or it's a council
Okay.
action.
And that's why
item.
staff will have to consult on the direction to take.
Okay.
Excellent. Is there any, we did public
We did.
input. Is there any further comment on
So-
objective number 2?
Well, I'm just wondering if we can kind of combine, because if we take what we have at goal number 2, because Ruth's goal number 1 is very closely aligned with theirs, but we just kind of add this specificity of 50% as bronze level. I wonder if we kind of can modify their goal 2 to almost establish the elimination of single-use plastics at the city-sponsored events, and incorporation of, should we set an actual goal for incorporating a certain % of single-use items in City Hall are replaced by sustainable alternatives? Can we, is that,
Yeah.
okay. And then the tasks underneath that would be to update the contract potentially for vendors using the, at city-sponsored events. And, the comparison sheet to establish a budget for approval? Does that combine the two? Okay.
Yeah, but we'll just reword the goal 2 and add these tasks under it. I think it'll fit.
Yeah, okay.
The way I read the goal too, it was more of a task than a goal. Because we have
You're
to
right.
we have to do it, to do the goals that we just discussed about the city events and City Hall.
So we'll make that objective is to create a policy that would eliminate or reduce the use of single-use plastics by city proper and city events, and apply it across the board. Again, trying to make it as voluntary as
Right.
possible, but with whatever teeth you need to put in it.
Makes sense.
Is there any further comment on Ruth's second objective, which was just fantastic, I have to say. Thank you for your thoughts on that. It was, you took a lot of time, and we appreciate that greatly. Let's move on. If anybody else has any other comment?
I had a third goal.
Well, let's stay with
Go
2
for it.
because we're going to try to get out of here at a recent time, and we were just doing 2 objectives for tonight, and I got 6 other people who are going to speak, and that was very insightful. And then we'll get back to yours either on member matters, if you like, or we can add it in later.
Can I just ask?
Okay.
It gets into sort of a branched related area, so I thought it relates to some reduction in overall plastics and trash that are on the barrier islands. So I was wanting to work on reduction of what we see as trash. We're trying to eliminate it, but we need to approach it from a pickup standpoint as well and see a reduction with some training efforts through the No Trace program that we could use their materials.
So I'll put goal 3. And we'll say support Leave No Trace initiative and program. Yeah. And that's through Emily Dark with Aquatic Preserves. And I've already reached out to her, and I know Ruth went to the meeting and told her that we were appalled at the amount of trash on the barrier islands, and we want to be a part of helping in any way we can. The city does have a number of boat launches, and so we can utilize those boards to get some information out. And I think we were discussing maybe on a Saturday morning when a lot of boats are going out of there, trying to hand out some material to them to get them thinking about it. I think just raising consciousness sometimes is that difference. So we can try, but I would definitely want Emily to be the guide on that. That's her program. So whatever she recommends, we can be a part of. As far as individual tasks under that, I would want to consult with her. Is that okay? Right?
You want to continue, Ms. Ruth? I know you do. I see it.
I had tasks, but she pretty much come up with many of the tasks. Most of it involves training and getting the materials and then posting it at the boat ramps and such. And I think, if there's ever an ability to have a mailer go to registered boat owners, to people who are registered in City of Sebastian, and that we provide that material specifically to them, as well as make it available at the boat.
I would also like to consult with staff on this. I know Lisa Frazier, she just attended a meeting this week at the MRC, and they're developing a new boater's manual for the area, and she was making sure that Sebastian was a part of that manual, and I know that Leave No Trace is part of that, so I would also like her to be involved on tasks they probably already discussed. So we'll include her in that, and then we'll shape up some tasks under that between her and Emily.
that was my third goal.
Thank you very much again. I'm sorry, I'm still getting everybody's names
Donna.
again. Donna.
I don't have anything for Initiative 1. I do have stuff for 2. so.
Okay, if you want to make comment on it, this would be your time.
Well, I just think that, are we going to move on to the initiative?
No, we're still trying to, I want to give everybody an opportunity because we were all supposed to do 2 objectives and with their goals with it.
Right.
So if you're referring to that,
I would like to talk about the second initiative.
Okay.
If we want to
you
talk
got
about
it.
it now.
Yes,
Okay.
it's your time.
Is everyone ready to move on?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Okay,
Of course, from our discussion, I'll recap it into, reform this document, and we'll be able to finalize it, so nothing is in stone. But if we're ready to move the discussion to 2, that would be.
Well, I just think that in our goals that we can reach out to other local groups here that already are pushing different things. I have brochures. I belong to the Native Plant Society. They have all kinds of brochures. They have this one that's wonderful called Real Florida Gardeners that gives all kinds of the plants that they can plant that are natives, and it's totally tie-in, and we don't have to recreate everything that from start. We can use the associations that are out there and gather up, and I will be more than willing to help gather up some of this literature, and then we can decide if there's one of these that stands out, if we have to purchase them or whatever, but to have them available at all of our meetings, at the city meetings, at the parks, whenever there's any event going on, so that we can distribute this. We don't have to just have Earth Day. We can have it all the time.
We do have something I partnered with the IFAS Extension Office,
Yeah.
and they have these great folders, and they have inside them, they have summaries of whole Florida friendly, and they have particular literature that they already put stuff into them that for this area about sod and different things, and then they have a schedule for their workshops. So I took this folder that they were trying to get out to more people, and they had master gardeners fill about 100 of them for me, and then I added all of our individual material. So I added information on our tree removal ordinance, our brochure, grow for tortoise, and what I made it into is what I call a new homeowner packet.
Okay, good.
So it's a great folder, and it uses the materials that are already available to us, compiles it, and I do all the final inspections on new houses. And so when I do that, I go in the houses before anyone's moved in, before they have a CO, and I leave it in that drawer next to the refrigerator where all the stuff for your appliances goes, or I hand it off directly to the homeowner, but I also keep them in the car. So if someone says, oh, I'm new to the area, I'm like, I have something for you, and I come and bring it to them. Well, that's why it's one of my tasks under here in educating is that I'd like to do a workshop, kind of a work day with the master gardeners, because we need so many more of them. And I would love to be handing them out at our festivals, to be handing them out, have them at City Hall on the desk. But as it is, I'm just kind of handing them new residents, just trying to, we could, and I'm sure you have other ideas of different ways we could reach people through realtors' offices, or we could come up with a lot of ways, but we need to have a bunch of them on hand before we start coming up with new ways to get this information out. But yeah, the folder and the information we've already developed the way, but they have all the folders we could want. They just don't have the time to stuff them all. So if we just had where we printed everything and we just had a day that we stuffed them all, and then we could do, a couple hundred, and then we could really find new ways to reach out
Can
to
we
people.
have them for Earth Day?
Yeah, that's what I would love to.
We should, yeah.
I mean, we can use the Art Center building to put them together.
That's true. A lot of long blank tables we can use.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to the master gardeners in the extension office and see how many they can get to us and tell them we'll stuff them, because the problem is they have trouble getting enough people to stuff them, because the master gardeners stay really busy.
Yes.
So that would be great. I'll reach out to them, tell them that's our goal, to hand these out on Earth Day. And I think they're just a great way to reach out to people.
Yes. Thank you. That's all I have. Right.
That's great, Donna. Thank you for your participation with that. Does anybody want to comment or additional comment on what Donna just brought out?
No, I think these are great.
Okay.
I have nothing to add.
Okay, no comment? Oh, go ahead, sir. Hey.
Violating public input rules, you got past that before I got up on my feet. I just want to remind you.
You have to say your name and
Graham
address.
Cox from
Hey, Mr.
1213
Cox, how you
George
doing,
Street.
sir?
18 months ago, a little more, we took the city's landscape ordinance, and the we being Pelican Island Audubon Society. We took the landscape ordinance as it was, and then took the model ordinance done by the Native Plant Society. We put them in columns side by side. It's about a 60-page document. And said, if you want to consider the language that's in the Native Plant Society to be included in the city's ordinance, then here's a way to do it. You could side-by-side comparison, you can decide on the language. And I know Kim's been busy, but I think it got...
Everybody got
I-
So
remember that.
early last summer, when we
Yeah.
were reviewing the ordinance, everyone got a copy of that
Everybody got
exact.
that copy? Okay, so there's a lot of work is being done on just saying what the ordinance should or could look like when it incorporates the kinds of thinking that you're
And some of
expressing.
us weren't on the board then, so maybe you need to resend it.
Sure. What I did is I made folders because it's a lot of material. And I had the county, and then I had the native plant, and then ours currently, and then Dr. Cox had a comparison of the two. They were like a side by side. It was really helpful to look at our element and then what this ideal element is to find the comparison. We came up with a list of items, a bulleted list of input compiled from all the board members, and that is part of what Robert's here for. We're going to start with the tree and then move on to the landscaping, and that's what we're going to be working on together, and that's why he's going to be attending the NRB meetings so that we can
So-
actually move forward
Yeah,
on.
we try to save you some work here, so that...
Absolutely, it's a great because it puts each element next to
as long
what
as
would
it's
be
not
ideal.
just dumped off the edge of the desk and lost.
Everyone got a copy in a folder. I remember when I gave everybody folders last summer
But
with
there are
it.
some that don't, so I'd be happy
Yeah.
to send copies to everybody if you, unless you want.
I think I still have 2 folders.
Okay,
Okay.
I will make sure they get it.
that's all I want to do.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you, Mr.
Cox.
Cox.
Violate
you.
your
Great,
public
no,
input.
you're okay, Mr. Cox. Thank you,
Thank you,
anytime.
Dr. Cox.
Do we want some more public input? You guys okay? All right. Yes, sir.
All right. Yes, good evening. Thank you for your good work and the very good dialogue I'm hearing here tonight. Now, my only concern is that we set the bar too low. We want to set the bar high, I think. Now, Mr. O'Neill, for example, had a very good point. Don't set the bar too low. Why do that? These businesses are going to have the opportunity to come in here and do something great, and let's reward them and recognize them for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your input. Going back, does anybody have any additional input on what we've said so far? Okay, we're going to go into Ms. Mosblitt.
No, I'm
No, she hasn't. She didn't have any comment.
The landscape stuff, are there links to the various, groups that we were talking about off of our Natural Resources Board website? I can't remember if there were or not.
Currently, there are links to the curb for the lagoon-friendly lawns, and for the IFAS Florida-friendly.
Okay.
But we also, previously, before we cleared and started out from scratch, because we had to rebuild it, we had a great page of links by topic
Okay.
related to a lot of the Florida-friendly and sustainable property maintenance items. And so a lot of those links were dead, so we just cleared the whole thing. We're going to build that back up again. So if anyone has a favorite site that they like to go to, we're going to start building that list back up again. Also, I'd like Robert to just explain that last task C under goal 3, because this is a really cool idea, I think.
So, my past, was a city planner at Palm Bay. A little program that we did many years ago was when someone, like a neighbor, had a prized lawn or something, we would put a door hanger out and just say, "We noticed," just to kind of, say the city recognizes your efforts, and then we went further in that, you know, they got a plaque and they got to shake the mayor's hand.
Nice.
So it's one of those little programs that just gives something back to the community, and it gives city staff the ability to, you know, kind of reach out to folks and have that one-on-one engagement.
But I thought also, like, we partner it, so we say lagoon-friendly lawns. So we say we notice a brief statement, and on the back could be a checklist of criteria for lagoon-friendly lawns. And look, you met all of these. You were, you know, and have a link that they can follow if they want to certify themselves, so that we're not putting them on the spot. We don't have to go and approach people. But personally, I'm out in the field every day. I talked to 2 people. Just today I had 5 inspections, and I talked to 2 residents because they had amazing native yards, like amazing. And if I see it and they're out in their yard, I'll go and talk to them and thank them and tell them their yard's beautiful. I usually get a tour. So they usually put it's usually the result of a lot of hard work, and they love to talk about it. But, you know, this is a great way to just anonymously say, you know, here, contact this and get certified. This is wonderful. We don't have to go door to door. It's kind of door to door, but it's not in your face door to door, so.
Plus they get bragging rights.
Yeah, they get a little sign for lagoon-friendly lawns, and
Recognition.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think if we can bring in those people, you know, the idea of being recognized at a city council meeting or something like that, or the potential for that, would actually be really beneficial.
Maybe even highlight them on the website, you know, our latest lagoon-friendly lawn, you know,
It's a great idea.
and, you know, of course, the photography would probably be great.
Yeah. I wonder if we could also use, if you have a little checklist, to almost kind of encourage people who are almost there, and say, you've got this, this, and this, and like, you're just missing this, you're so close, you know, this is, and so kind of as encouragement as well. Yeah.
That would be neat. You know, you can do it when you're walking the dog at night and just hang it on someone's door or hand it to them.
Yeah. Can we add under one of these goals, as part of our task, the completion of the new landscaping ordinance, or is that because it's not necessarily our job? I know that it's technically falling under you.
Well, there's another initiative. So if I just took what was listed as it's listed on the resolution and numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, as the order they appear on the resolution. There's another one about shaping policies and ordinances, and we'll dig deeper into that when we get there.
Okay, I forgot about that. That's right. Okay.
Is there any additional comment on that, Ms. Musblatt? Brian, would you like to?
No, I noticed we don't have anything for the Surf Rider Ocean Friendly Lawn Program, and I know that's a big one in Brevard, so I don't know if we want to think about that or not, but I mean, they're very happy to share their knowledge as well, so.
We can definitely start by adding that to our links.
Great.
Brian, do you have any additional comments? Right
No,
now?
thank you.
Tom?
No, I've just been listening and everything's fine.
Would you
so
like to
far.
comment on anything?
Not in this
Okay,
time.
all right. I guess down to me. One of my objectives for the goal 1 and goal 2, what I'd like to do is get a grant writer in place. I like to have somebody who knows what they're doing to get us some money to get some of this.
At this point, we haven't established what the cost will be of the things that we would need money for, and this may be a negligible cost that is as simple as proposing it to City Council. So I don't think at this point that we need to say, well, we need a grant writer for this. We haven't established any items that are large enough cost that we need to be
I think we're going
pursuing.
to, though. I think we are going to establish it, and I'd like to go ahead and start moving on the process of finding that person, because it seems like if that person was so easy to find or have them on staff or whatever I have to do, they would be here already. And these next couple of months are going to go by real quick.
Well, getting a grant writer, acquiring a grant writer, hiring one, is an item that would fall under the items that we would ask City Council for approval for. So this is something we would want to add in to a goal.
Right.
Add it as a goal as one of the items that we approach City Council to put into the budget. Do you see? It's not something we make it as a task. It's something we make as a goal, because it's something we have to approach as a separate budget item to city council, because it's not something we can decide ourselves.
It's a new hire.
It's a new hire
That's going to take a
position.
little time. That's what I figured. That's why I'd like to go ahead and get started on, whatever I have to do to get started on that process, I'd like to go ahead and start that. Because it sounds like it's going to take at least 6 months to get through this budget process. And I'd like to have this grant, my goal is to have something written and on somebody's desk within 1 year.
I think the first step in doing that, though, is to identify what we need a grant writer for, and I don't think we're there.
We have to clearly identify our tasks and the ones that are budget
No.
items.
I think you misunderstand me just a little bit.
Yeah.
I just want to start the process on what do I have to do to find one? That's what I'd like to know. I don't even know how to find one. I don't even know what they do.
Well, that wouldn't be your job. That would be something we would have to approach city council for funding for. That's something that city council has already discussed on their own, if you follow the meetings.
Okay.
They have already discussed the idea, and I don't know where it's at that point, because it isn't my field. So it's, it's its own budget item. It's not something we can throw out on our own.
One of the things that I've noticed with people who are successful is that they plan for success. So I want to plan that we're going to get through these things, whatever we have to do to meet these objectives, and then in the end, I got this person ready to go. I'm just bringing it up now. I know this is 6 months to a year off, and it's going to be budget this and meeting that, but I just want to make people aware that this is one of the objectives, is to get the
Do we
money.
have a list of grants that are available to us?
And we don't
I
really
do.
have anything right now, because
I
we
do.
don't know what we need.
Can you give me that list?
Absolutely. I have a spreadsheet I created of all the grants available in the area related to environment, marked exactly for what category they apply to and what times they're open for. So a lot of them open in October or winter, not many open about this time of year. But yeah, I have that list. We'd happy to get it out to you.
Just something.
And it has hyperlinks that take you right to the site.
I wrote a lot of grants when I was in New York. A lot of them had matches.
And that's
right?
the other
Is it
thing.
the same thing here? There's
Yes.
a 50% match or 25% match?
Usually 50. And so it's not as...
We need city council
you would need an
to come up with
introduction to the whole
50%,
grant.
The other 50%.
And that was the
not-
hardest part about writing grants. Writing grants is not that difficult. I've written millions of dollars worth of grants, and
The managing them
Secure
that
the
gets
number of them.
tedious.
Right.
Yeah.
it's getting the money and writing the budget. That's the hard part. It's not writing the grant.
The staff to manage these programs, and they have to have, it's 50% cost match. But that means if it's a $20,000 grant, that means we have to have 10,000 in an account setting. 20? Matching, yeah. I'm just saying, sorry.
Well, I just
But we
wanted to
have to have
bring
that
that
money
up
set aside.
because
So that's a
it's a
huge budget
process.
item, and it's not something that we can decide here.
Right.
What I'm saying is that it's been discussed at city council, and I don't know where they are with that. So I'll consult with staff and see where they stand on that process at this point, because that item is something beyond us, for sure. And so I will see where that has resolved as far as city council, so.
And then what we used to do is we used in-house workers to cover the match. So they were already being paid by the town. So if we were able to do the work in-house, then
In kind.
it was the town getting to do work that they couldn't do before, but they still had the employees to do it.
Nice. Excellent. That was really my only objective, because I've noticed to get anything done, I have to get the money. So that's the only thing I'm going to concern myself with, getting this sustainable Sebastian in. Does anybody else have any other comments on the two objectives and implementation plans? Ms. Hagler, do you have any direction for us for this?
Any other comments about goal 3 and 4? Or any additional goals?
Anything that you would like to add that we haven't already discussed? Do you need anything else from us for this, is really what I'm asking?
Just that your agreement with the items here, or if you have any changes or new items, just,
Based on what everything that everybody's looking at right now for Initiative 1 and Initiative 2 with the goals and everything set up, do we got a consensus on what we've spoken about tonight? Okay, it looks like we're good with this.
Yes.
Do we have to take a voice vote or anything? No? All right. Thank you for your hard work with everything, Ms. Hagler, too. And I wanted to let everybody know that we're here at the direction of the city council. It is the city council's direct involvement that puts us out here today, but Ms. Hagler has been very instrumental in what we're doing. I just wanted to recognize her for that. But if the city council wasn't interested in getting this done, we wouldn't be here right now. Okay, let's move on then. We're still sticking with unfinished business. We're gonna move on to item B, Earth Day and Arbor Day celebration on Saturday, April 25th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. First, let's discuss event planning. I guess we're just really talking about vendors and food vendors and.
I have a flyer completed that's just waiting for finalized entertainment.
Musicians. I've got oral commitments, but I don't have any contracts back yet. So, but I do
We just set a deadline that if you want to be on our flyer, you need to confirm by this date.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That fair?
Yep. I mean, I just talked to Robert Johnson. He's our primary band, and he's fine. I said, look, I didn't send it to you so you could keep it.
We players. Does anybody need any assistance with any of the vendors lists, anything that we need for Earth Day? We had a nice breakdown last year on how to move forward. We have to still contact some of the different agencies, fire department, state of Florida. Some phone calls need to be made to different people for permitting and things like that.
I submit the fire
Yeah,
permit.
that's what I figured.
That and the events now are not being handled by the county. It's handled in City Hall, so it's
nice.
even an easier process now.
Yeah.
And just to let you know, there is a gentleman named Ron, and he works at the front desk. He works for Leisure Services, but he works at that desk in community development. When you first walk in, he greets you if you come to see me. And he's fantastic, and he has offered to help. So as things start pouring in over the next month, we posted the applications, the vendor applications online that are fillable, and we've posted them. I put them into the Google Drive, so you have them to send to the vendors, but they still end up contacting me. So when they contact me, I'm forwarding them to him, and he's gonna follow up with that communication. And if anybody can't do online application, he's gonna have copies at at the front desk for them as well.
So are the applications ready to send out to the vendors? Do we send? Okay. 'Cause
I put
had
them in the
sent-
Google Drive last week.
I didn't realize. Okay, so I had sent an email out, I think in January, just saying, save the date, etc. So I can start sending out the applications. Do the fire permits go with them, like we did last year? Remember, we had the 2 forms.
Right, the same fire permit.
Okay, so for the retail vendors, there's a retail vendor sheet and the fire permit for them, and then there's a food vendor. Okay, all right.
They're the same as last year. They haven't changed.
Oh, so everything is all the forms
No,
are the same?
the permits are new, and they're dated in the Google Drive.
Okay.
And just to state for everyone who may not be familiar, there is a Google Drive email account so that we can put the information regarding the organization of this event, only for the organization of this event, for those board members that need to communicate to vendors, so that there's one place that the vendors are communicating to, not 5, because that can get very tedious. And that is public record, and any communication that occurs on there gets dumped into the whole vat of public records here at City Hall, just to be clear.
Excellent.
Okay.
Is there any further comment on vendors?
I just, I guess, so if Ron is going to be taking care of, is he going to be handling, when he gets an application through, the actual copy or email to him, is he going to be putting it into because last year I was.
Yep. I'm going to give him
organizing
access to
everything.
the Google Drive so he can put that right in there.
Okay, into the spreadsheet. Okay, all right. Sounds good.
Any additional comment? Okay, we'll move on to determine the sustainable Sebastian promotional products for celebration of Earth Day and Arbor Day. And I think we've been talking about doing.
It's on the back of your packets. Flip it over. Flip your packet up to the back.
Back.
I did not email you, and I should have, but we need some kind of water container
at least for us.
Yeah.
And I think maybe city council as well. Yeah.
I like that idea.
I agree. No, she had a metal one. So want to look at a metal like that for us?
So, and again, thank you, Ms. Hagler, for these comparisons and all the work you've done looking up all this. So what we're looking at here, board, is basically your stickers, your canvas bags, your totes, t-shirts, and oh, there's our seed packets. And I was amazed at how expensive our seed packets are. When we can't get around it, I spoke to big companies. And they're
34 cents is really cheap.
Yeah, I thought that was
Oh,
really good.
no, I'm just saying, they used to be like
Insanely cheap.
9 cents. When I was a kid, it was 9 cents, and we used to do seed packets from a company called American Seed Company out of the back of the comic books. We would go sell these around town. It was 9 cents. Okay, but what it is, no, it's great. I love the seed packets. But this is, are we just picking out of what we want to do here tonight? Or
So
is,
these, we already decided that we wanted to do stickers,
Right.
bag, and I put the grocery tote just to see the cost difference. And the t-shirts, I think just getting a quote from Manatees was enough. That's the local printing place, so that's Manatees. Those are their quotes. And the thing with Manatees is that it's not going to be any shipping or handling. And I got to physically hold the tote bag where you don't know what you're getting, what quality it is sometimes when you look online on these places. And it was like a light, like a broadcloth, does that make sense? Cotton, so it was a light cotton, but it was washable and nice. It was like the size, like a piece of paper would fit in really well and a little bigger. And they were organic, 100% organic cotton. I kind of liked the product myself just so that I got to touch it. So to get an advantage there. And of course I wanted to include in there for shirts so that we're not wearing the green polos, we're wearing Sustainable Sebastian.
do you have any personal input on any of this, Ms. Hagler?
No, I mean, there are, I need to put a few options, and the procurement officer, she had a couple recommendations for some of these sites, so I put their prices. Going for the same quality product with the stickers, I didn't want to do the paper kind that are printed and that smear when they get wet, or I want to do something a little better. We don't want something they're just going to throw on the floor or put on their shirt. We want something that they're going to put on their car window or put on their notebook, something they're going to keep that's nice, better quality. So it's a cut vinyl. That's the product. And I put the grocery tote just to see the comparison between them. You can definitely get those pretty cheap. But I think we all agree everyone has way too many of those around.
Never enough.
But never when you need them, right?
No.
What is our overall budget?
We do not have a budget set for these materials. We're going to decide what we want, and then we're going to approach city council for approval on them, because it's going to be beyond our Earth Day budget.
Yes.
And then on the item that's described for the stickers that are rectangular, so, you know, when we look at a something that's not rectangular, is that going to be fit inside to the whole sticker?
It looked funny inside of an oval shape, but it's easier to do it in an oval or a square. And even though it's an oval, when you put that logo in an oval shape, it looked funny. And
Understood.
you can do these die-cut stickers. They get a lot more expensive. And so we're looking, this isn't the one that we're going to put in business windows. This is the one we're just going to hand out to everyone, you know, smaller.
If you use a local company, you'll have some recourse if they, you know, come out, you know.
And they're right there. It's right across the street from
So, I
the
mean,
park.
the
so
difference in price isn't that, you know, I don't think it's worthy of a lot of discussion there.
I feel that sustainability is about supporting local business too.
I agree.
So we can just decide on whether we're getting the 3x2 or the 4x2.
So
Right.
it sounds like everybody likes the rectangle pricing for the
Go
stickers.
with
You
the
don't want to
bigger
go with the
one. Go
ovals.
with the bigger one.
Go with the bigger.
Yeah, you want it to
4x2 rectangle.
They all have other stickers in their windows, so you want it to be able to be seen.
Does anybody?
Lopsided?
4x2. I personally like the oval stickers, but the cost difference is like double. So,
But I'll tell you, I got to see at Manatee's, he put it in the logo. So our logo isn't a big perfect oval. And so when you put it inside an oval, it looks kind of funny. I know when you put it in a square, it just kind of looked better.
Yeah.
Rectangle, it just kind of looked better.
So we're gonna go with rectangle,
And that's why I put rectangle.
4 by 2, and we're gonna requisition $282 for those stickers. Okay, let's go into the bags. We have a canvas bag and the organic totes. I think I like the organic totes. I like how tough the canvas bags are, but it's, anybody else?
We're gonna go with the
comment on that?
local again. We're gonna go with the local guys again, right?
Do we have an estimate of how many of attendees? The totes were assuming, so the stickers and the totes we're giving away, those are promotional gear.
I would say we get about 2 to 250, but when we promote this event that we're giving things away, it really does, more people are going to show up for it.
Yeah.
And we're going to do some heavy promoting of the program in the schools, so.
And also the, what's in March? What's the?
I mean, you
the
can use
Pelican
them for
Island,
next year too,
The Wildlife
right?
Festival? Are we having these things for
And
the
we're gonna be
Wildlife
there.
Festival as well?
My goal is just to have the stickers for that. We're going to save the bags for Earth Day.
Okay.
Because our event is going to be our big introduction, but I think it's a good idea to get the lower cost item and have that available just to start raising awareness. Agree? Or
Yeah.
I do.
it's open to input. Just
And that comes from
No, I like that.
Manatees. Is that a local company that we were referring to? Manatees?
the
is it?
shop in the village shops here.
Gotcha. Okay, that's nice. Right now, I noticed is the value grocery totes and grocery totes, is that separate from the regular bigger totes, or are those all the same?
Well, these canvas bags they're like 15 by
Right, they're a
15,
little bit
16.
bigger.
The
Gotcha.
grocery totes are the kind that are like.
Okay, so we're gonna go with the
They're
organic
smaller though.
cotton
One of them's
tote.
really small. One's like they have more depth to them. They're gonna have that squared.
And we're gonna
bottom.
get those as well. We're gonna get we can only pick one?
I was just showing the difference. I think we had
Oh.
agreed on doing the tote bag. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if someone brought up the grocery bags again, I was just listing them there to see.
It looks like it's kind of a middle of the road type thing too with the organic cotton tote. It's 13 inches by 15 inches from Manatees. We get 200 to 300 for 448 to 672. I mean, is everybody comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that takes care of that. And then the T-shirts are what the T-shirts are. We really aren't going to get around that. And then seed packets are what seed packets are, so we're
Yeah,
pretty much done with
we're not going to
that.
beat that $8 a piece.
80.
We have 9 members.
Do we need more than 10 though, right?
It's
Because
estimated.
city council's gonna have them too, right?
Yeah, we can give one to city council.
Oh, this is just 10 shirts.
I was just thinking for all the board members and but city staff that are the. Yeah.
Are we able to sell these shirts or anything? Is this something we can develop to sell? No? Just asking.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're comfortable with 3, 9.
And we're also including metal tumblers for board members and city staff.
Metal tumblers. So it looks like we're going to make a request to City Hall, to the City of Sebastian for about $1,200 for everything. Is the board comfortable with moving forward with that request?
Are we getting $1,200?
You'll have to look on the price for those.
Excuse.
You can get pretty good price on them.
Maybe we could just, I don't know how quickly you have to make this request. It looks like about 1,500 then.
Yeah.
And we have support from the city council for this request to just let the board know.
This is
They-
going to go straight up to city manager.
Yeah,
As soon as this is finalized, like tomorrow, I'm going to take it up to city manager, so it's going
all
to.
right, so.
City council's
we'll-
already agreed.
All right,
So are we also going to be printing brochures or something to be handing out too? Does that have to be included in this?
No, because printing we can do here.
Okay.
okay, so we're all comfortable with that. And then that takes, any other comment on determined sustainable Sebastian promotional products for celebration? Any further comment on that? No? We're going to move on to item 9, member matters. We'll start again from right to left.
Actually, sorry, really quick. We talked about a contest in the schools. Do we still want to try and do something like that?
Coloring contest.
Well, doing a contest we need the flyer out before that.
Yeah.
You know, like I already created it because we got to get it out as soon as possible
Right.
to start raising awareness. So the time it would take to have the contest and determine the winner and then design it based on their graph would take up to the event to finalize. We could do any other kind of contest. I mean,
What if can we get like extra kid-sized T-shirts and off, kind of have a voting so the posters are there, or have some kind of a artistic display and have the winners get T-shirts or a medal some kind of a
as prizes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could say as prizes for like the scavenger hunt instead of the bike that one kid gets, more like the first 20 that finish it could get a shirt or something like that.
Well, I was kind of thinking if we send out the contest and we do some kind of an art contest in the schools, if the students are able to submit there, and then we have that around our booth, we almost have kind of like the public is able to vote on the different submissions. You potentially get more kids coming. So we have, like, it has to be this size, potentially more kids come so you can see their artwork displayed and then the winners get a prize.
Well, Donna, we're actually, we're partnering with the art club, and I like Donna to chime in on her thoughts on that. So we've allotted a section of the booths, so we're going to have less vendor, but we're going to have more the art booths. We have a section near us, and then they're also going to be doing face painting for us. So if there was anything art related we were going to offer, I'd want them to have,
I just think that you're trying to do too much for this one time. I think that if we do
Maybe
it for
next
next year, or we shoot for when the school year starts, that we have a contest throughout the school year so that, because we have to educate the schools first. If we ask them for a poster on what is sustainable Sebastian to you, how are they going to answer that without having all the information that we're putting together now?
Yeah.
So I think we're stepping ahead of ourselves, and we can certainly educate them over the next year and have it for the following year.
Just have to get on the school board's agenda between now and the beginning of June before they end, so we can get stuff done for next year. Gives you a 3-month window.
Well, I think we might want to put that in our
I agree.
action plan, that we develop something to present to the school boards by June.
You're going to have to do it before then,
Okay?
because the school year ends,
Yeah,
and it's like
school year
everybody
ends.
goes home.
So after Earth Day,
You also have the teacher of the year here.
May.
We still need to put together a simple brochure, pamphlet, flyer, something that says what sustainable Sebastian is, other than listing 6 initiatives.
So
Yeah.
we were supposed to have
I
a
think it has to be
one-pager and a
simplified.
table tent, right? Or
I think it has to be
One page,
simple.
Del?
By Earth Day.
one person
Hold on
time.
1 second. It's
Brian?
in order.
So we were supposed to have a one-page flyer thing, right?
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
As we're tightening up
Okay.
our goal here. I like the sign that I had on the parade float on the back. It just had a few highlighted items just to give a general idea. It's very general, but it's going to be read. If we make something with a lot of words, they're not really going to look at it. We can make it very general, basic, and then it leads them to our website to learn more.
Is there any way we can incorporate using the amount of resources used, putting it on the back of the sticker, like the sticker part, and then the sticker back? That's probably too tedious.
I don't know the process that he does. I mean, I know what you're saying. I know that, like, when you do the labels, you can print on the back of labels if you want them through your computer, and I don't know how, these are kind of nicer than that. I don't know if they can be run through like that. That would be really cool, though.
Maybe we can work on as a board for our next meeting, the actual a real definition of what we're doing so that it's solid, and what we would call an elevator speech. So this way, if you're ever stuck in the elevator with Bill Gates, you know what to say for the next 15 seconds so that he buys into your program, i.e. anybody you speak to on the street. So you develop that, basically a mission statement or a definition of what it is, solid, and then your elevator speech off of that, and
Yeah.
we can
I think
go with that.
Robert just pointed out that Brian already summed it up, Strauss Cubs bags.
That's it.
If you had 1 minute, what would you say?
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, it goes a couple different ways.
Plants.
It actually is, it can be Sebastian Business Cares too. So it works both ways, so Sebastian Business Cares.
You guys want to
I think that's what we put at the top of one of the posters at Earth Day, Sebastian Business Cares. And then underneath we list our litter quitter certified businesses and promote them.
Yeah, we can make that a goal for our next meeting is to really button that up because we got the Pelican Island Wildlife Festival coming up, and we're gonna try to roll some of this out then and make our fumbling done then, and we will fumble and we'll fail, but we will succeed.
And when is that
Earth
again?
Day.
What's the date of that?
March 7th.
March.
And I think we'll get a good idea of where the questions are.
March 7th? Did you say that
March
was?
7th, Saturday, right?
Is that before or after our next meeting?
After.
After? Just after.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll get one more shot at
So-
coming
March
up with a
3rd is our
real
next
definition.
meeting, and we'll have that, remember, the comp plan review. That'll be a
Okay.
chunk of our meeting, so.
All right, is there any more comment on any of that, everybody? Okay, we're going to move on to item 9, member matters. We'll start with Ruth down at the end. No comment? Thank you for your comments tonight, though, Ms. Ruth. Donna?
I don't have anything at this time, no.
Wish Ruth good luck in Australia.
Just that with the sustainable Sebastian Business Cares or straws bag cups, that gets you 2/3 are turtles. Thank you. So that's straws and bags have both been detrimental to our turtles, and this would be a great thing to do.
Ms. Musplatt? The only thing I would like to bring up, something real quick, is thank you to the board for all their work this last month. We are currently working on our Sustainable Sebastian initiatives. We have been invited to do the integrated pest management subcommittees, as well as our Earth Day, as well as the comp plan. So this is a very exciting time to be here. We're going to be doing things that are going to be affecting our communities for the next 10, 20, 30 years. Some of us will be here to see the end of it. Some of us won't be. But we're going to work real hard at doing what we got to do. And that's
I want to
one thing
add
I have to say.
I'm sorry. I'd like to add a quick announcement. The Patrick Morgan from the Sebastian Area Historical Society, they have a plethora of information over there. They're amazing. If you ever get a chance to stop by, they're in that building next to City Council, the old high school. Anyway, Wednesday, February 19th at 6 p.m., they're doing a mosquito control, history of mosquito control, 1925 to present. He was telling me some of it because he had been on the board on mosquito control for years, and it's really amazing. You know, it's a big part of what makes this area livable, but the history is really cool.
I'm sorry, I have a number 10, items for next agenda, comp plan update workshop. Do I have to comment on that?
I was just adding it
Okay,
in
all right.
Member Matters.
Move to adjourn meeting. Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Oh, wait, somebody else give me a motion.
I'll second.
Vote on aye. Meeting adjourned.